Hey, before we begin, let's thank our sponsors. Two of our newest sponsors, Jayco Contracting, gutter and roofing specialist. I tell you, they're hard to find, like, people that you can trust. You can trust Cliff. He's a good dude. Cliff Bratcher, 770-316-3876. He doesn't mind you blowing up his phone 7 days a week, 365. Triple platinum certified with Owens Corning, free gutter guard with roof replacement, satisfaction guaranteed, commercial and residential. Plus, you're dealing with a stand-up guy in Cliff. 770-316-7876. Get out more information on jaycocontracting.com, J-A-C-O contracting.com. Big thanks to JHM Land Solutions, family-owned and operated grading, land clearing, mulching, and tree company. So if you're a homeowner or business, you want to turn your property into some usable space, they'll come out and clear it out. Solutions for your outdoor space, servicing Georgia, Alabama, and Tennessee. There's no project too big, too small. They'll take care of you either way. JHM Land Solutions. Give them a buzz, 770-274-9120, or you can find them on the old Facebook. Servicing Alabama, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Texas, Utah, and Virginia. That would be FBC Insurance. Perfect for new homeowners. I got all my new insurance policies through FBC Insurance. Or just looking to reshop your current insurance policy. 5-star service, and they'll shop over 35 A-rated companies. You can email them directly, info@fbcinsuranceservices.com, or call 888-308-1841. Policies for your home, flood, auto, motorcycle, boat, recreational vehicle, or personal policy. I'm telling you, reshop your policy. See what they can offer. Really good chance you're going to get a better deal. You can also get a quote online, fbcinsuranceservices.com. Need help? Get help. Dr. David Markwell, we love him. He's been with us for years. If you are in Georgia, he's got 10 therapists in-house that can help you at one of the 3 locations, one across from Sprayberry High School in Sandy Plains and East Cobb, Marietta near the square in McKaysville outside of Blue Ridge. But if you are a listener in another state, they offer in-personal and virtual sessions. So you can do the virtual sessions, markwelltherapy.com, or email ridgelinecounseling@gmail.com. The Mad Dog, Manny Aurora, the Aurora Law Firm. Criminal defense, white-collar crime, DUI, drug offenses, appeals, and more. Based out of Georgia, but litigates all over the United States. Where is he at? He was just up in, Pennsylvania in a federal case, wasn't he? Taking pictures with a weenie mobile. The AuroraLawFirm.com. Reach out to the Mad Dog, and if you have a legal question, you can always get those to me for his next visit on the show, TheBaileyShow.com. And Inspect All Pest Services, providing the highest quality termite, pest, and wildlife control, and other home services like insulation, pressure washing, gutter maintenance, and more. They're in Metro Atlanta and the surrounding areas. InspectAllServices.com. Thank you to InspectAllServices.com for not only sponsoring the show, but sponsoring Podcast and Pours 3, along with Alternate Power Solutions. And then Alternate Power Solutions, family-owned and operated, a Generac generator dealer. You know, the big home generators? That's what they do. They've been doing it for like 30 years, a long time, or 20 years, I should say. So every customer, which would be you at Alternate Power Solution, gets an upgraded warranty, free monitoring, and a service contract. Plus, you get $500 off installation. That's saving you $500 if you use discount code Bailey. B as in boy, A-I-L-E-Y. Call or request a free in-home assessment, poweringgeorgia.com or 770-853-7571, Alternate Power Solutions. And then you got a Rachel Guy, my wife. She's your guy. Buying a house in Florida and or Georgia, 404-797-4600. Let her help with your needs, not those needs, sicko. I am Rachel Guy at gmail.com. IAMRACHELGUY at gmail.com. TheBaileyShow.com. And if you want to sponsor the show, you can reach out to me on the same place, TheBaileyShow.com. All right, let's begin.
What do we want to talk about?
To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Welcome to the Bailey Show podcast, a guy show women love to listen to.
Intellectually immature nonsense.
That's BS.
That's BS.
That's BS.
That's BS.
Okay, man, let's do it.
All right, there it is, episode 240 of the BS. Thanks for being here. My name's Jason Bailey. That right there is the iron-fisted one, Chuck Lunsford. Hello, Chuck.
What's up, man? I'm still in my temporary office in North Carolina, but I might set up residency. It's kind of nice.
You do. You look like you planted those phony motivational posters in the back wall.
One's crooked.
Be good today because tomorrow's not promised, and there's a whale jumping out of the water. And there's the B-Man, Brandon Thrasher. Hello, B-Man.
Aloha, everybody.
Aloha, everybody. Why are you in North Carolina again? You're celebrating what?
My anniversary.
How many years?
13 years of wedding bliss, whatever you say there.
Well, I can say it. I don't know if you can say it.
What's it called?
Wedding bliss?
Is it wedding bliss?
Weddingful is not a word.
I think it's wedful.
Wedful bliss? I've never heard that either. You might be right, though.
I'm going to go with it.
Yeah. Has it been blissful all 13 years?
All 13 years, man. Best decision I ever made.
Yeah. What about for her?
Probably not the same, but that's okay.
So for 13, what is the prize? What do you get her?
I got her a card this morning, and I got her a nice bracelet of this. I can't remember what it's called. It's a fancy pants bracelet that she likes. I got her a bumper sticker. No, it's she. No, because she collects.
Love you, honey.
No, she collects those like you ever see like 30A stickers you put on the back of like mom vans, and she has those on there every time we go somewhere, Perdido Key, anywhere in the United States. She puts a sticker on there. So I found her a nice one from the Outer Banks yesterday. Mm-hmm. So I put that in the card. But the boss move was in the card at the very end. I wrote, P.S. It's okay that you forgot to get me a card. I still love you, and don't worry about it. So when she opened it this morning, and she reads it, and she reads the PS, and she looks at me, and I was like, it's okay. And she's like, I totally forgot to get you a card. And I was like, I know, 13 years. Like, I know.
Cards are stupid. Cards are the most I hate cards. Absolutely despise cards. If I don't even open them. If I get one in the mail, I just throw it away.
No, you don't.
True story. I mean,
they're $5.99 a piece on the low end.
Brandon, do you remember the infamous Christmas card I threw away and somebody that we used to work with got really angry?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Feelings.
Yeah. I've said it for years. I don't like cards. What do you want me to do with it? Do you want me to put it on my mantle? Especially if you're sending me pictures of you. Why do I want you on my mantle?
No, we hang. So at Christmas, we hang all the cards in the open doorways around the house. So like every open doorway that does not have a door has all the Christmas cards from all the years that we've saved them all the way down. It's really, really cool. Well, it is. It's a really neat thing. I think my wife learned it on Etsy or something. I don't know, but it's really.
Is it just your family though, or are these like random cards you get from other people?
Dude, random cards from people I don't even know. Like if you sent me one from like, I don't know, like a Christian academy, my kids used to go to school there. They've been sending us cards every year for like 5 years. It's up there. Okay. Any card I get, I'm putting up.
So you screwed up on the wedding prize for 13 years. Did you even research? Like every year it's something, it's like silver or gold or pearls or something like that. Do you know what item you're supposed to get your wife for the 13-year wedding anniversary?
Well, hopefully it's oysters, because that's where we're going tonight, is to eat oysters.
It is not oysters.
What is 13 is nothing. It's an odd number. There's no way it's something.
It doesn't go by odd or even numbers, dum-dum.
It does. 5, 10, 15, 20, and 9.
No, every year there is something specific you're supposed to get your significant other based off of tradition.
Well, no way you know that.
I do know it. I just Googled it.
I'm okay. So if 20, I think, is bronze, I'm going to say it's is it a piece of jewelry or gem?
No and no. Brandon, would you like to guess?
Is it a brand new car?
Yeah, that's what it is. 13 is a brand new car. No, it's a new husband, actually. No, 13, you're supposed to, the traditional gift or prize, as I like to call it, is lace. So you could have gotten her some yeah, look at those eyes. Could have gotten her some lingerie. By the way, these episodes up on our YouTube channel, so you can see those big old bug eyes pop out and go, Oh, I missed the boat, but lace would have been nice. Sexy, sexy.
Hey, it's not midnight yet.
Traditionally, lace is given on the 13th anniversary. Its intricate detailing reflecting the intertwining of the couple's lives through 13 years of marriage. The modern theme for the 13th anniversary is furs and textiles, reflecting the protection and warmth derived from a comforting and successful marriage.
So you're saying I just got to get her a thong and I'm good.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
This is the greatest anniversary ever.
That's
I
exactly.
had to wait 13 years.
Yep. Throw out those granny panties. It's our 13th.
Yeah. So, I mean, just pop before you get back to the house, pop into a Victoria's Secret and it actually be kind of funny. Video it, because at first she's going to probably be taken back by it a little bit. I mean, I don't know what her underdrawer situation is and I don't care, but what I'm saying is she's going to be like, okay, that's kind of, what are you doing here? Or get her like a nice teddy, a nice little lingerie nighty thing. Yeah, there you go.
But what is she supposed to get me?
Same thing.
Little lace sock for your willy.
We're changing it up now. 13 years. I got myself a thong today.
A little lace willy warmer. There you go. Actually, maybe you can go out and find yourself a prostitute named Lacey.
Yeah, I'm sure that would work.
You get her a nice lace thong and she gets you a nice prostitute named Lacey. There you go. You nailed the 13th anniversary tradition of
tradition. Traditionally, it's tradition.
Yeah, just you come home with the thong and the prostitute. And she's
what Jason said.
No, Google said, not Jason said. Google said, not Jason said. Google said. Absolutely. All right. Well, since this is a Freebae edition, would like to remind you that this is the week. This is the big week. On Friday, and for subscribers, you heard me say this in the sub episode released on Tuesday, but this Friday, and this is how I'm going to put it, this Friday morning at 12 a.m., which would be midnight on Friday, but I guess there's some confusion about that. Midnight, 12 a.m. is Friday morning, not Thursday night. So anyway, Friday morning, 12 a.m., we will be releasing a special sub episode with all the details on the expansion of the podcast, also details on Podcast and Pores 4. Throughout this entire week, you've already seen teases. You'll see more teases, but it's going to be big. All right. And what this will do for you getting the episode released early, because I'll release it to everyone else later on that day, probably around 10 a.m., is that for Podcast and Pores 4, which we will have a national band headlining. We'll have numerous bands, but we'll have a big band headlining, and a lot of cool things going in on this, is that there's a tier system with the tickets. So there's a certain amount of tickets for tier 1 that are going to be like $15. Once they're gone, tier 2's 20, 25, 30, 35, so on and so forth. I think it caps at like 35 or $40. Also, there's hotel information thanks to the Hilton. Hilton has provided us a block of rooms at an extremely discounted rate. Once those rooms are gone, they're gone. You subscribers will have access to that for about 10 hours. So from 12 a.m. Friday morning till 10 a.m. Friday morning, just subscribers will get that episode. And if all goes well, and I don't see why it shouldn't, a special guest will be joining us to help make the announcement of all this stuff. So it's going to be really, really cool. And with that special guest, if the internet rumors are true, we could have even more information at that time. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what the internet's saying. And it'll make more sense on Friday. So very, very exciting. By now, if you go to thebaileyshow.com, podcastandpores.com is linked off of the site. So you can see 1 and 2. You have information for 3, which Chuck is very excited about, because not only is this the first time, and how long has it been since you guys have been up on stage? 8 months?
9 months now.
So 9 months, Distinct Grace has taken a break. In that time, they've regrouped, recorded an album with Will Turpin of Collective Soul, and are going to give you a 2+ hour performance. And without a doubt, one of the best party bands you could possibly be around, and that is Distinct Grace. So Podcast and Pours 3, just as important. We just have a lot going on, and this is all part of the plan to continuously have events, expand the podcast, give you more and more and more. Those tickets on thebaileyshow.com. I know I have to mention this because this is what people want. No offense, Chuck.
Bradley's in a Cadillac, smoking weed and doing crack. Found a bitch and broke her back. I don't know when.
Branden will be performing his hit song, Bradley's in a Cadillac, and with distinct grace putting together the music.
Is it possible to get Bradley there?
I don't even know.
I think he's busy that weekend.
Is he a real person?
Yeah.
Oh, well, why would you not have Bradley there show up in a Cadillac?
Well, I don't own a Cadillac.
I'll get you one.
A brand new one?
No, I will get you. I will, if you can deliver whoever this Bradley character is to Podcast and Pours 3, I will find a way to get you a Cadillac to drive up in.
All right. You met him before, actually.
Okay. Well, I'm sure he's a great guy. I just don't remember. But, it's very simple. You go into a Cadillac dealership and say, hey, I'm thinking about buying this car. Let's test drive it. I need it overnight.
I need it overnight.
Couple days over the weekend, please.
There's going to be some pissed off Cadillac salesman in the corner at Podcast and Pours 3 like, this was supposed to be a test drive.
I'm sure we have a two-peer that owns a Cadillac that would be more than happy to drive Bradley up to Tannery Row in Beaufort, Georgia, for the event, And I know, Branden, you want me to play this
Bradley's in a Cadillac, smoking weed and doing crack. Found it and broke it back. I don't know when he'll be back. I done took too many.
because there's going to be a mixture of both songs because the people want this. But Branden wants this.
Bradley's in a Cadillac.
So Distinct Grace is going to have to work some major magic and start out with this and transition to this. Good luck.
Seamless. It's a seamless transition.
Seamless transition. Did you guys see what happened to the rookie wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers, Ricky Pearsall?
The guy that got shot, right?
Yeah, got shot during a robbery. Good old San Fran.
In the Bay Area, I was just living out there. One of the reasons why I'm no longer probably on the air out there, one of many, but, because I would say crazy things about how crappy that place had become and people just going about doing everything they want to do. Not to say that these things don't happen in other states, but the Bay Area's gotten really bad. I mean, California's just gotten really bad because of the leadership. I'm not saying people take it very personal when I'll mention things about my bad experience in California. I'm not saying the whole state, and I'm not saying everybody, because I made some really good friends out there. Still to this day. Actually, I got to fly out to Reno in a couple weeks, and some of my friends from Sacramento are going to drive over and we're going to do dinner. So I still have some really good relationships with people out there, and it wasn't all horrible. I mean, with my super secret special project, that idea came from us being out in California. So it wasn't all horrible, but the Bay Area, I mean, it's so bad that Elon Musk has closed up shop and is moving his entire business out of the Bay Area. That's
He's going to Texas, isn't he?
Huh?
Yeah.
He's going to Texas, I think.
I think Texas. Yeah. I think Texas. So this guy, but by the way, the rookie for the 49ers was part of the dispute with Brandon Ayuk, who just signed his big deal with the 49ers, of going like, look, give me money. I want to be traded. Why are you drafting this guy when you have me on one side and Debo on the other side? You're like, what are you doing? So he was a little, pissed off about that. And this guy's like, from what I read, literally was walking down the street in the afternoon and some like 17-year-old kid came up and tried to rob him. And I'm assuming the guy probably said, go pound sand, and he shot him in the gut. He shot him in the gut.
Well, they said that there was a struggle. So apparently the receiver tried to like fight back, but I thought he got shot in the chest.
Yeah, chest.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
But dude, he got released like 12 hours later. Like, what kind of badass are you?
Okay, so that's my point. Brian Robinson Jr., right? Running back, Washington Redskins or Commanders. He got shot. The dude comes back and plays football. How does this happen? I work outside in my yard and I scrape up my knuckles just trying to like build a plastic shed, and I'm out for a week. These guys are getting shot and playing in the NFL. Like, that's just next level awesome, right?
Yeah, I roll my ankle a lot and I'm out. I'm out for days.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine getting shot in the chest and being like, oh, I got to get back home and do some yard work.
Or I got to go play in a football game, or something like that. Yeah, he was released the next day after getting shot. You see some of these stories sometimes, like somebody gets shot in the head and they're like, yeah, we released him the same day and he's going back to work tomorrow. What? Like, okay, very cool. That's awesome. That's like next level badass. I don't know if this Ricky guy is young. I don't know if he's married or he's got a girlfriend or what, but outside of being a professional football player and a huge prospect for the San Francisco 49ers, I mean, he hasn't done anything yet, obviously, but that line in itself at a bar, I don't see how a girl could turn you down, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but isn't it? I think the worst part is he's not making that kind of money. Like, what's the cap now for rookies? It's low.
Depends on when you're drafted.
Isn't it like, I'd say maybe he's worth 200,000, right?
Well, he's got NIL money, or he had it. Probably made a good bit at Florida.
Okay. I'm just saying, if you're going to rob somebody and they're going to be a professional athlete and they're going to an autograph signing, which is where he was going, I'm hitting Debo. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going for the guy with the chain that it's like, okay, that's an easy target.
And is it politically correct to throw him the ball in shotgun formation after?
Stupid.
The announcer's going to be like, oh, that ball hit Pearsall right in the chest.
Yeah.
A bullet to the chest.
What's that play that Shanahan called the stop on the street, shot to the chest, you're being robbed, zip right, Zach left, 45. Okay, yeah, that's what you hit him right in the chest. Yeah, I don't know if that's politically correct or not. So, you get a guy like that, and you always hear stories of, well, that's the way they'd want to go. That's the way they want to go. So walking, he got drafted. He's playing in the NFL. Hasn't played yet, but he's playing in the NFL. He's going to an autograph signing. You always kind of flip the script and go, he didn't die, thank God. But, that's how he'd want to go. Pleasing his fans, signing autographs. And I always say this, nobody wants to go. One thing they like more than skydiving or signing autographs or anything else? Breathing. That's the most favorite thing that everybody loves to do. Breathing. So whenever I hear that's the way he wants to go, it drives me insane, because I got a story here that's what everybody's saying about this guy and how he died. What?
Yeah. I was just going to say to you, there's got to be something that you could look at and be like, okay, if I was in that situation, that's the way I'd want to go. Like saving a school bus full of kids, you know what I mean? Or something where you're like, yeah, if I know I'm going to go, that's the way I'm going to do it.
Okay, two different things. And let me tell you about Fatman Scoop. You guys heard about Fatman Scoop and what happened to him?
He died on stage, right?
If you came to party, make some noise.
And he collapses and has a heart attack. First and foremost, I should not have this audio. That video should not be on the internet. That is horrible. Like, absolutely horrible. I would be irate if a family member or a friend died publicly. I mean, it wasn't even public, because this is just in like some small club, and it's circulating the internet. That's kind of, I don't know. And then the internet, you can't do anything about it, but the news is playing it.
Yeah.
It's more putting it back on the internet.
Yeah, the news is playing it. But this guy, I don't know who he is, but I guess he's a big deal in that industry. I have a radio friend of mine that did this long post that he's a total radio pro, radio vet. He's worked all over the country, big markets, smaller markets, so on and so forth. But I guess when he was doing radio in New York, he hired this Fatman Scoop guy and taught him how to be a radio personality. And then years later, hired him again to do a mix show. But I guess, he's produced music. He's a big deal, I guess, in the industry, more or less probably behind the scenes. I don't know. And I'm not trying to downgrade the guy. I just don't know. But I do know he was very well liked and well respected in the industry. But this dude's out there doing his, hey, everybody make some noise. Let's about and all the comments.
Did anybody did you see the video? Did anybody go to try to help him, or were they just all like, yay?
No, he's behind the DJ booth. Dude's got his shirt off, big dude, like heavy dude. He's behind the DJ booth on the microphone. Then there's a DJ, guy dude who's spinning the ones and twos. And that's when he does his thing and he just collapses and he falls. And everybody just kind of looks around and is like, is he coming back? I mean, what would you do?
I mean, probably like that. Like, you're going to look around like, was that supposed to be part of the show?
Right, exactly. Was that supposed to be part of the show? But all the comments for this Fatman Scoop guy are, he went out doing what he loved.
I mean, honestly, if you passed away right now behind the mic, like let's say you had a widowmaker heart attack and you were like, blah, 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 bit, whatever. And all of a sudden you just like, boom, hit your head on the microphone. Me and Branden are probably going to be like, and then we're going to be like, well, Jason went out the way he wanted to go out. Like, that's how
I promise you, I promise you, going out on a podcast is not the way that I want to go.
Oh.
There aren't enough downloads that exist for me to go out on a podcast.
So we got to record tomorrow or no?
Yeah. Like, hey, did you get that email from Jason? Just kidding. No, I mean, but okay. So if this isn't what you would want to go out, the way you'd want to go out, like, I know you don't want to go out, but if you get to choose it, I know don't say in your sleep, how do you want to go out? Like something baller.
I never want to go out.
I envision Branden wants to go out like blowing something up and some tannerite got mixed up. And next thing you know, like he gets blown up by tannerite. Like he would be like, yeah, that's the way I want to go.
As long as the video gets published.
Exactly.
Right. Well, he's young. He has no appreciation for life. He hasn't hit the decade of his life where things start falling apart, his eyes start going, and life becomes a little bit more fragile and you appreciate, things a little bit more, a lot more actually. That happens later in life. At 25, you don't care.
Well,
he wants the views.
Yesterday I was in the ocean and my kids were boogie boarding and I was just looking for a shark because I was like, dude, if a shark attacks my kids, I'm going to fight it. It may kill me, but I'm going to that shark up. Right. And I was like, that's the way I'd want to go, like saving kids, especially my own or even somebody else's. I'm okay with that. But that's where you like, there was a football player that did that. Remember his kids got caught in a rip current or something?
There was a wrestler. What's his name? He went out like that too. Yeah. There's been a couple people that got caught and, they were saving their kids.
Yeah.
Doing it. Yeah. I mean, like to make the argument of, is there something that if I could choose, I mean, I think I've always said I wanted to take a bullet for somebody, like in a bank robbery. And but here's what makes me angry about that is I don't want some strange that's got no business being on this earth taking me out. Like the person that takes me, because ultimately they win, right? The person that takes you out is better than you because they won, right? So the person that or thing that takes me out has to be larger than life. Does
like
that make sense? It's not just, see, this is where the story gets a little convoluted. People always think the person that takes you out, not the thing, and they never put it into perspective of if you're losing, the ultimate loss, right? You're losing. Are you losing and okay with it because it's what you want it to do? Or in my world, I'm losing to someone that's better than me or something that's better than me. So it's got to be something big. Like, I just don't want, like in Ricky's case, I don't want to be walking down the street and some 17-year-old scumbag that shouldn't even be on this earth anyway, put a bullet in my chest. And now I'm done when I've done everything right. That's crap. Right. Poor Fatman Scoop, the good Lord took him. He had no choice. It was just his time. That's when he went. So that's bigger than him. Okay, fair enough. Does that make sense?
Well, so like, what if you're in like the bathroom at the mall and you see a suspicious package and you're like, hey, get everybody out of here, suspicious package. And then you open it up and it's like counting down from 20 seconds. And you're like, I got to do something.
I would have to in that 20 seconds find out who made that package.
Like, where's the return label?
Because he's flipping around like, where's the customer service on this?
I would love to cut the wire, but I need to find out who made it first. Where was it manufactured?
Because then I would have to do some research and see if that person was better than me. Now, if that person like were a big now, when I say better than me, I'm not saying like then you gotta tear it up a little bit. Like, are they a bigger deal than I am? You know, like are they better than me in life? Are people going to know who that person is that took me out? Just don't want some scumbag, 17-year-old scumbag on the streets of San Francisco putting a bullet in me and nobody knows, you know, Joe, right? That's stupid.
So it would have to be like the Unabomber came back, he got released, and he made the bomb for you to like try to disarm it.
Yeah, like that, or a serial killer. Like I could go out with a known serial killer that is on a streak, is on a run, and then I find the serial killer and I stop the serial killer from killing someone else, and like the whole world's talking about the serial killer.
What if he was like a serial killer that toured around Rockstar and laid bombs, and they called him John Bomb Jovi?
Oh, that's so good.
How long have you been holding on to that one?
About 10 seconds.
That's good. That's good. That's really good. Okay, so let's take the John Bomb Jovi, for example. Okay. I would be, should I say it? Living on a prayer. Okay, so yeah, if it's a serial killer all over the mainstream media, everybody's looking for this person, can't be found. I just happened to run into this serial killer trying to kill some innocent bystander, preferably female, preferably an older woman, you know, right? With a lot of money that she would then leave to my family. And I stop it from happening, but then get killed in the process. Then he's caught, or I kill him too. And that's the other part of this. So let's say I'm able to kill him as long as he dies before me. You see what I'm saying?
Like you gave him a headshot, he gave you a chest shot.
Right. And I'm sitting there and we're staring at each other in a room and you can hear the ambulances coming and the old lady's still suffering. You know, she's in shock. She's on the phone, whatever's going on. And I'm sitting there looking into John Bomb Jovi's eyes and he's looking into mine and I'm starting to see life fade in his eyes. And that's going to give me strength to stay awake until he dies. I go over, check his pulse, and I'm like, I'm ready. And then I go out.
Like Tombstone with Doc Holliday.
Like Doc Holliday. Perfect example.
Johnny Ringo. He's like, you're no Huckleberry. You're no Huckleberry at all as he's going down.
Right. Well, if that even happened, which we'll get to in a later episode this week, because what we learned from the movie Tombstone, and if you're watching this Wyatt Earp narrated by Ed Harris on Netflix, we missed a lot. Like a lot.
It doesn't ruin Tombstone for us, does it?
It does.
Oh.
It does. It does a lot. It does a lot. It absolutely does. That's another episode. That's probably Thursday's episode. So do I have too many rules? Is there too much drama in my dying?
I mean, it's fantasy world. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I just think that you've put a lot more thought in it than what you initially said. I mean, you've got a lot of details to cover. You know, I'm saving kids. Brandon's getting blown up and getting posted on Instagram, and you're over here looking into dead man's eyes. Like, it's a lot, but it's your world, man.
Yeah, and you can appreciate it, right? I'm sure you can.
No, I like it. I think it's like I said, maybe the amount of energy you put into this is a little unhealthy, but at the end of the day, it's your fantasy. You know,
I think about it all the time.
every time there's a serial killer, you're like, okay, where's he located? Who could it be?
I'm surprised you didn't say like dying on a plane. Like you stopped the bad guy and you're like, they killed the pilots already. You're like bleeding out and you're like talking to him like, I gotta land this plane. You're like fading in and out, trying to land the plane.
You know what? As much as I would love to be a tough guy, I don't think I could do any of that. I could definitely regulate on a plane, but I ain't landing the plane. I'm not doing any of that. So I am so terrified of dying on a plane. It's not like I am such an Alanis Morissette song. It's not even funny. You know, it terrifies me that I'm 30,000 feet above earth, or above the land, I should say, in the sky, trapped in this metal tube with all these strangers, knowing that there's a good percentage of them that are shadier than hell. And then you have to regulate within those constraints, like nowhere to go. Terrifies me. Absolutely.
Would it make you feel better if there was parachutes under every seat?
No, I couldn't parachute. No way. There's no way I could do that.
Even if your life was on the line and they're like, hey, we're going to die. We dropped down to 5,000 feet. We can hang out here for a while. Start jumping. You don't think you could do it?
Well, I'd have to do it. There's no choice. I've always thought that I would hopefully be in a situation where we'd be close enough to water where I could jump out before the plane.
Going 500 miles per hour. You're like, I'll just jump up. I'll be fine.
No, jump out.
Yeah, but you got to jump up at the same time, because if you don't want to jump out and down, because then I feel like you're just speeding up.
Yeah, my ups never been good. Never been good. But do kind of like with the Titanic, with Jack and Roasted, they go to the very back of the plane, back of the boat, and then as it's tilting down, you're up high. So as it's going down, so I'd be like kind of surfing the back of the plane, and then as I see it go down, I jump off. So I'd have a better angle.
I think I would have died in the Titanic.
But yeah,
I wouldn't have survived it. There's no way I would have kicked off like a lady or a kid. I'd be like that guy, like, oh, I'll figure it out. And then I'd be in the 10-degree water. Like, that was dumb.
You know how I would have survived on the Titanic? I would have had common sense. I would have been like, what are you idiots doing? These boats are empty. Like, why are we not filling these boats up? Who's in charge here? Billy Zane? Like, this guy's got to go. He's going to kill himself anyway during the stock market crash. Like, so who cares?
The guy with the gun would have shot you, because you can't, you'd have been causing problems. So
I would have whipped that dude's ass. I would have taken one of those bows from a violin and I would have beat him to death with it. And then I would have taken charge and I would have loaded those boats up without a doubt. And, or what I would have done is I would have found doors or some piece of, material that I would have put to attach the boats. So you throw them into the water and then you line the boats up. And then now you have boards that are setting on the boats so you can put people on those boards.
So I thought of that when I watched the movie, and I was going to take the top of the piano, the big wooden thing that's like resting. I was like, that would have been a perfect raft, Well,
like the owner, inventor, creator, whatever of Macy's, he and his wife are the ones that stayed in the room and died on the boat. They drowned.
Yeah, that's true story.
Yeah, that's a true story. Yeah, they're in the movie. They're the ones that snuggle up in the bed. The older couple, they just snuggle up in the bed, and then the water gushes through the window, and they just die. And how long would that take you? I mean, the water's freezing, but still, I don't think you die initially from the water hit, and the water's coming fairly forcefully, I would think. But still, that's not going to knock you out. It's going to make you, confused. But you're still going to drown.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Drowning. Absolutely. My wife would have left me in that room. There's no way she would have stayed in there and snuggled.
No. She would have been like, look, I have a good feeling you're going to get off this boat. I'm going to take this boat.
and then when I go to get her on the boat, she's like, hey, I forgot something in the room. Can you go grab it? And I'm like, yeah, but it's underwater. She's like, are you serious? Just go get it. And like an idiot, I'd be like, okay. And then I'd go down there and die.
Yeah. My wife would have been like, we left our Stanleys in the room. Can you go grab them, please?
and you'd be like, yeah, we did spend a lot of money on those. Should probably go get them.
Where'd Branden go? You have to go throw up probably.
Well, it's just thing.
He's got health issues, man. I'm telling you, he's got health issues. So how long you guys going to stay out there?
We are here until next Saturday. What is that? Like the 6th or the 7th or something like that. We're here for a whole week. We did a big group of people, a bunch of people off my wife's side of the family, and the in-laws are here, which is cool. I mean, it's a different type of vibe with the vacation.
So you're on vacation, North Carolina, celebrating your 13th wedding anniversary. Your in-laws are there, and you don't sound excited about it. These are your parents?
No, they're my wife's parents.
Your wife's parents. Okay, you get along with them just fine?
Yeah, get along great.
Okay. And you guys are all staying under the same roof?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have sex if you're staying under the same roof with either your parents or her parents?
It depends on how many cocktails my wife's had, for one. 2, yeah, Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. You don't think that's disrespectful or weird?
If I was like in my teens, but I think now it's like, I mean, there's 3 little humans running around. They got here somehow. Like when her dad, I mean, me and her dad have he's messed up and asked questions. And I'm like, dude, like we have kids. And he's like, I know, don't talk about it. It's like, so.
Don't talk about it. Don't talk about the kids. Okay. So when we went to Maryland for Rachel's childhood friend's wedding, we stayed at her grandmother's house, and her grandmother is the sweetest woman, just the sweetest thing. Bless her heart. She just lost her husband and her soulmate. So she's living in this house that she's lived in forever, for the most part, by herself. All of her kids, busy lives, grandkids, busy lives. So she's lonely. And she even said that to us. She says, it's nice to have company, but I miss him, which is like broke my heart, just made me very, very sad. Anyway, so the first night we get there, we end up flying to BWI, and I didn't know this, but we went to Delaware instead, because Salisbury, Maryland and Delaware are right on the border for the most part. So we went to Delaware to see one of her family members perform, this girl, very talented girl, Alyssa, at this bar. And, a bunch of family, they were in town, not for this wedding. They were in town for the vacation or something. I don't know. So it was this whole family affair. So she was trying to obviously see as many of her family members as possible. I get it. So grandma's there, and I was tired because we had been up since like 4 that morning, traveling, dealing with headaches and putting out fires and all kinds of stuff. So we spent like a couple hours there. We had some food. We had a couple drinks. I was like, you know what? Can we just go back to grandma's house? I'm tired. We got a long day tomorrow. Rachel's like, yeah, sure. That's fine. So I see grandma and Rach having this conversation at this bar, and we get in the car and she goes, grandma's got rules. And I said, well, what kind of rules does grandma have? And she goes, well, rule number 1, we have to sleep in separate beds. And, grandma's rules, I'm fine with it. And truth be told, I knew they weren't king size beds. So for me to have, no dogs, no wife, and just me spread out in this bed, I was straight like skull, man. I was in. So, we were there for like 3 or 4 days, 3 or 4 days without sex. That's tough. Right. So I hinted a couple times, and Rach even hinted a couple times because, she can't quit me, that. And so I was like, well, do you want to go out to the rental car? Old school it. Mm-hmm. We decided against it because we just thought it was disrespectful to do it on grandma's property. We were thinking about going to a public place, thinking about renting a hotel for, I only need 5 minutes. So, just a quick 5 minutes in a hotel or something like that. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Like if we were staying with her parents even, and they live, 45 minutes up the street. If we're staying with my mom, which will never happen, I couldn't do it under the same roof. I had a girlfriend back in college that when I went to go visit and stay with her in South Florida, she snuck into my room one night and just took advantage of me. Right. And I felt horrible. Like, I mean, I'll never forget that feeling because I wouldn't want somebody doing it to me. And then I start to think, any guests that I have at my house, I wonder who's having sex at my house.
Well, it happens. Because I think it was like 10 years ago. Me and my wife were at my grandmother's house, and she was the same way. She was very weird about it at first. And we took the golf cart on a ride into the woods. I think we went out like an acre or two in the thick wooded area, and we just became naturalists. It worked out. But after that, she's gotten more and more comfortable about it. But I think what's more, like you said, people at your house, what about when you go to these people's, like my in-laws? Like, are they smashing when I'm there?
Right.
Like that's something. When I hear the door open at like 2 a.m, I'm like, I wonder if they just got done, or that. I think that's the more awkward thing is when people come to your house. Have you ever had that conversation with them? Like, hey, don't do that here. Or do you care? Do you care?
No, I have never had that conversation. And I think it's a weird conversation to have because you know what their answer is going to be, right? I mean, they're going to be, oh, of course not. We wouldn't do that. But then it's weird. Even though if they're going to do it, they're going to do it anyway. They're not going to listen to you. They're like, he'll never know unless you say, oh, by the way, I've got cameras in your room.
I was just going to say that's the only reason that I would think you would ask. If you were like, hey, are you guys going to do it? You're like, why? Well, I have cameras in your room for security reasons. I'm like, what? So
you're staying in the big brother room. It's under surveillance 24/7. We've had a lot of break-ins in that room, so we keep cameras just in that room. Yeah, I think it's disrespectful to have sex at someone else's house. Absolutely. Now, would I have it if somebody's at my house? Yes, because it's my house. I can do whatever I want.
Wait, you think it's disrespectful? I mean, it's
because you got to like do laundry.
No, I think he's talking about you're more of like it's disrespectful because, yeah, the laundry really is the only situation I'm thinking of, right?
No, it's disrespectful to have sex at someone else's house.
Yeah, why?
Because it's not your house. It's not your bed. Those aren't your sheets.
What are you gonna make them go to like a Target to go to the bathroom?
To have sex? Yeah, fine, do it. I mean, that's
I mean, like, there's a lot of things that people do that are done in private that they do at your house, like going to the restroom, showering. You know, I mean, it's part for the course, man.
I guess it's just how I was raised. I don't know. I think it's now if you're all staying at an Airbnb together, different story.
That's we are at an Airbnb.
Well, that is somebody's house, but you know what I'm saying. It's nobody's house. Does that make sense?
Yeah, Brandon, would you do it?
At Jason's house?
Yeah. That's a dumb question.
Yeah. I mean, after hearing this, I would have to do the laundry. I have to wake up real early and do the laundry and change the sheets. See, that takes so long though. Washing sheets.
You're laying a towel down.
and
don't on the floor.
And don't you think I'm going to know if he gets up? Branden gets up early at my house and is doing laundry, the sheets.
Hey, Bailey, man, you got any sheets you need done? I'm doing a load. Like, you already did a load.
Spilled orange juice on mine, man. Sorry.
We were talking about a guy that would openly pee in my backyard during parties. And you're asking him, would he have sex if he was staying at my house? That's a dumb question.
The bathroom line was long and we couldn't go upstairs to the master bathroom. I mean, there was like 8 people in line. I had to go.
Well,
I was doing the ladies a favor because then they could go ahead. You know, I wasn't holding up the line for nobody. I'm like, oh, look, this nice little corner. Good to go. Looks like it needs to be watered.
So for the rest of the night, my backyard smelled like asparagus.
I wasn't aware that was not a welcome thing there in Roswell.
Or just at a grown-up party. I mean, Brandon, what's the problem, man? I'm like literally everybody can see. My wife comes over and goes, I think Brandon's peeing on our fence right now. And I'm like, what the? I think you're right. And I walk over. I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, man, I'm just paying. And I think this was the same night he tries to steal all the beer and take it with him.
No, those are 2 different nights.
Okay, sorry, 2 different nights.
Did he take it?
No, I came down like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh man, you ain't gonna drink it. I was like, maybe ask.
Well, Jill had brought him from Pontoon. I was like, oh shit, I guess he didn't want all these. I guess we'll just take them with us.
How many did you take?
It was like 4 or 5.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not like we took a whole cooler.
No. You at the beginning were loading up. You had every single beer and you were putting them in your pockets. You were putting them in bags, boxes. I even think that Deaf August made a wagon out of something like bark. You know, you guys were trying to take everything that I had. And I see him. I was on the upper deck and I come down. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh man, you ain't gonna drink these. I go, dude, these are my beers. Leave them. Because yeah, you're right. I don't drink beer often, but I need them for people when they come over. You know, you put them in the outside cooler. That's what you do. Oh man, we're gonna drink them all tonight, which I believe you guys would have. But I'm like, dude, just take some. You can take some. Oh man, okay, I'm just gonna go pee in your backyard again. That's all.
I feel bad. I poured like 2 sips out in the grass. I was like, oh, I got backwash. I poured it out in the bush. Rachel saw it like, Jason, he's pouring beer out in the bushes.
Just you're killing my bushes. You can't put beer in the bushes.
Beer. Beer's good for bushes. It came from bushes.
What if you bring the beer though? Like if he'd have brought the beer, he could have took it. It's his beer, right? Like you don't expect people to only bring items to your house. They have to leave them when they leave, right?
Absolutely.
See, I met a guy one time. I hate this dude. I don't even remember his name. I'll never talk to him again. I brought beer to his house, and it was like the good expensive beer. It might have been like a Hopsecutioner or something. And I showed up trying to be nice. I handed it to him. Dude, he's working the grill. He opens it and he pours it on the steaks.
Oh,
like, no. And I'm like, what is going on? I told Megan, I'm like, I just gave this guy a 12 pack. And then like there was a flame on the grill and he put it out with the beer. And I'm like, what a jerk, man. I was so mad at that. Oh, yeah.
Well, cooking with the beer, I understand that. I've never cooked a steak with beer, but cooking with beer, I get that.
I think he was just trying to be a boss, just like, oh, thanks, Jason, for the beer. And then just start pouring it on this grill like it's nothing to him,
Yeah. But if you bring something to my house, it's an offering.
An offering.
If I'm throwing a party and I'm providing just about everything, entertainment, toilet, pool, my amazing food on the grill, brisket, flying Hawaiian turkey burgers, putting in the effort, the work, and you bring over a 12 pack of Hopsecutioner or whatever it is that you just said, you leave it as an offering of thanks. Absolutely.
Note to self, Brandon, just drink everything you brought when you're there.
Drink as much as you can.
Well, see, now
be inside.
So here's the catch-22 is that if you're bringing beer for you to drink, because that's the type of beer that you like, or in my case, that I'm not going to probably provide a lot of beer, or your favorite beer. Yeah, if you drink it all, you drink it all. That's fine. But if there's any left over, even one, you leave it as an option.
Jason's doing bag searches on the way out. Let me see. Open up the purse. You got any beer in there? No, go ahead.
You have to sign a consent to search form when you get to the party. He's like, this just says there'll be no electronics and I can search you and all of your persons when you leave. You're like, what the?
You're being funny, but when Ariel was younger and we had a trampoline in the backyard, her and Caleb, I had a waiver for her friends to sign and her parents to sign before they got on the trampoline.
Shut up. No, you did not.
I did, yeah.
Did you make it yourself or did you just find one online?
Nah, and my attorney put it together.
No, you did not.
I did. True story.
See,
I didn't want to get sued. Brandon, do you remember I was talking about that on our show in Atlanta? I don't know if you were with us then, but yeah, I had a stack of papers and we gave the parents a heads up and was like, hey, we got a new trampoline in the backyard.
Wait, it wasn't the one me and August put together, was it? She was like 16, 17 at the time.
No. This was the one before. We had two trampolines that very rarely got used. Total waste of money. But the first one that Poppy put up, and the kids were young. So it might have been before you had joined the radio show. And I was like, no. I even bought, that was when I got my first umbrella policy. I was like, I'm going to get an umbrella policy and I'm going to have them sign waivers when they come over. And some of the parents wouldn't sign it. They're like, no. I was like, well, your kid can't go on the trampoline.
You have to wait inside.
You had like wristbands made up. So like every time they signed, you're like, okay, you can have a wristband. No, Alex, you will not be jumping today. Like, trying to get a fake wristband. Like, oh man, I really want to jump. So that was
30-minute rotations.
Yeah. So there were some that didn't sign it. Did any injuries occur?
No, thank God. See, no harm, no foul. Just sign the paperwork and we're good to go.
And everybody thinks you're a weirdo.
I don't think it's that weird, to be honest with you. I mean, maybe other people might think it's odd. I never thought it was odd. I thought it was actually really, really smart for me to do.
I've never even heard of that. And I've been to a lot of kids' birthday parties. Now granted, you go to Urban Air, Rock and Jump, like the big franchises. But when you go to somebody's house, it's not, the trampoline's the least of my worries. Like kids jump over my fence when they're at my house and crack their head open on stuff. I'm like,
okay, so if you go to these bounce house places, right? They have you sign a waiver. So what's the difference? Why would you not have someone sign a waiver at your house? Well, because that's easier to sue me than it is to sue them.
I don't know. I guess you just think like they have hundreds, maybe thousands of kids coming through there a week. you're going to have
We
maybe
did too.
10.
It felt
You
like-
know what? You know what? I'm going to stop arguing. I don't know your foot traffic. Like I don't know how many friends she had. So if it was that many, then maybe you were right.
Yeah, let's put it this way. We had one of those door clickers.
A turnstile. You had a turnstile. You're like, oh yeah, man, we hit a new record this week, Ariel. Good job.
Yeah, when she reached a certain age, we were looking at a metal detector, but they were a little pricey. Hiring some of those TSA people, come over and just check people in when they can. I thought it was smart. I also one time wanted to charge people for Thanksgiving dinner because people would come over all the time and eat, and I was going to give them a bill.
But Thanksgiving dinner is one of the cheapest dinners to put together.
Yeah, but still, it's my time.
And aren't you inviting these people to come?
Yes, it was you. Some of them, yes. But restaurants invite you to come too, and they charge you.
I don't think they invite you. They're just saying, you can come if you want.
No,
they pretty much say, please come join us.
Yeah, I get emails from restaurants all the time that say, hey, come out Friday night. This is what we're doing. So restaurants invite you. So what's the difference?
I think you'd be better off charging for drinks. That's realistic. Like if I went to your house, you're like, hey man, chip in $30. I got all this booze or something. I'd be like, okay. But turkey?
Well, I think it softens the blow when you just set down one of those puffy fake leather foldable cards on the table at the end with a bill in there afterwards, instead of saying chip in, and just leave that there and just itemize turkey $12.99.
Mm-hmm.
Blah, blah, blah. And then I give you a friend discount at the end. That softens the blow a little bit more, 20% off,
And then you put recommended gratuities in there. And then when they circle the 10%, you're like, I guess we weren't that close.
Right. Yeah. So anyway. All right. Branden, you got your one question ready to go?
I do.
All right, here we go.
One question with Branden.
All right, Branden, what's your one question?
All right. Well, I wasn't high or intoxicated when I came up with this one. I think I was in the shower, so I didn't have my phone with me. But all right, are the phrases easier than and not as hard as, do they mean the same thing?
Easier than and not as hard as, right?
Yeah. So saying, it's raising girls or raising boys is easier than girls, or raising boys is not as hard as girls.
I was like, what's a raisin boy?
That's what I thought. I'm like, raisins. What is he talking about? Raisins.
I heard it through the grapevine.
I got you now.
Raising boys is not as easy as raising girls. Raising boys is not as hard as raising
harder than
or harder than. Yeah, they are the same thing, are they not?
Can you say it one more? Say it one more time, Branden. Use it in a sentence.
Oh, used in a sentence?
A sentence that we can understand.
Doing concrete is easier than oil rigging, or doing concrete is not as hard as oil rigging. Are you downplaying it, or are you
Yes.
the
The second one is demeaning.
Not as hard as?
That's a good one. This is a good one question, by the way. The second one is demeaning. Like, so say the first one again.
Doing concrete is easier than oil rigging.
Right. Okay. Stop there. Doing concrete is a lot easier than oil rigging, in my opinion. And I've done both. Right. So you're in conversation. You're not downplaying. You're just saying your experience, your thoughts, your opinion. One is easier than because. Now use the second one.
Doing concrete is not as hard as doing oil rigging.
That sounds demeaning. Doing concrete, man, is not as hard as oil rigging. Oil rigging's crazy.
I was kind of thinking the other way around. Like,
yeah, that's what I was
easier.
I was gonna say the second one was like a compliment. Like it sounds more like to oil riggers. You're like, hey, doing concrete is not as hard as what these guys go through. Like that was complimenting. The first one is very factual. I think I agree with Jason. It's just more of a fact but the second one is an opinion.
Yeah, and that's it. Because if you're saying that to an oil rigger, which by the way, 2 horrible examples. If you're saying that to an oil rigger is going to be like, hell no, dude, this is the hardest job in the world, you know? And then they say that, and you got a concrete guy there. Concrete guys, you're like, you kidding me? Have you ever done concrete? It's the hardest job in the world, you know? But now the first way is you're just saying it, you're not pitting them against each other. I feel the second way you're pitting them against each other.
But I guess it depends on who's saying it too. Because if the oil rigger person is saying it, and he's like, oh, concrete's easier than oil rigging. Or he might say concrete's not as hard as oil rigging. But if the concrete guy says it the other way around, because he's got the easier job.
Are you sure you weren't high on this one too?
Nah, dude, I was in the shower. These are shower thought. This one was a shower thought.
Why in the shower? What made you think of concrete and oil rigging?
Well, it's really just the phrases. I was listening to some little baby song and something about hoes and bitches, you know.
Yeah, the language in the little baby song. You're like, yo, the bitches are easier than, but not as hard as, you know, like, God.
Oh, no, actually, I know how I thought of it. I was thinking about, because women or moms usually say boys are easier than raising girls. And then, but if you say it's easier, they're gonna be like, raising kids is not easy. Neither one of them is easier than the other. So then it's not as hard as.
Can you say raisin?
Raisin.
Okay.
No, you want them to say raisin, right?
Well, first start with say the cereal Raisin Bran.
Raisin Bran.
Okay. Now say Raisin Branden.
Raisin Branden.
Why when I say it or Chuck says raising, it sounds like the word raising, but when you say it, it sounds like raisin.
Like a dried grape.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Wait, we talking about raisins, like dried grapes?
Bailey, what are you talking about? We've been talking about these dried grapes this whole conversation.
I think it's funny that he's like looking at you like you're crazy, like, duh, raisin is a dried grape. But he's saying you say raisin when we say raisin.
Raising and raisin.
They're raising the taxes. They're raising the cost of living.
I think he just omitted an entire word from the dictionary. I don't think he knows it. I don't think he's ever used it. Have you ever used that word? Say raisin.
Raising.
Okay.
Raising kids. Raising kids.
Feels like
raising the taxes.
Feels like you got a touch of the tism. Do it again.
Raising the kids.
Raising
the ceiling.
Cheers.
Raisin brand.
Raisin Bran.
Raisin Bran. Raising Branden.
Raising Branden.
Raising Branden. Raising Branden. All right. So I think the second one sounds demeaning now that you put it that way.
But are they the same? But so you're saying one is worse than the other depending on who's saying it?
Yes. And who you're saying it to. Definitely who you're saying it to, without a doubt. Like if you were, if you said it the first way and you're talking to the concrete guy and the oil rigger, God, how we got there, I don't know. I think they would reply back with like, oh, I could see that. You know, they would understand where you're coming from because you're coming from your opinion. But the second way sounds like you're pitting them together or pitting them against each other. You're like, dude, your job's harder than his job. And you're like a third party and you're out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but see, I think it's the opposite of saying you put the word easier in there. It makes it seem like, oh, that's easy. But when you bring in the hard part, it's like you're saying it's hard, but not as hard.
You asked the question. That was your one question, and I answered it. Chuck, do you agree or what?
I think you answered it. I just think this is a total question that a woman would throw at us because this is the way women think. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's how I thought of it.
Yeah. You were with a woman in the shower with raisins.
She was like, do you think it's easier or is it more hard to do this in the shower? You're like, oh, that's a good question.
Let me get the whole time write that down.
Brandon's looking at her nips and going, raisins. Raisins. They look like raisins. All right. Give us a like, share, follow on social media at Listen to the BS. You get all the information for the show on thebaileyshow.com, thebaileyshow.com. Remember, Friday subscribers, if you are a subscriber in this episode, here's a Freebae. You might not be a subscriber. Please subscribe, thebaileyshow.com. At midnight, 12 a.m. Friday morning, a special episode will be released with news on the expansion of the podcast. Also with details for Podcast and Pours 4 with our special guest. If all goes well, you'll be able to purchase tickets at tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, the early tier prices for about 10 hours, as well as get those hotel room rates at that discount and the certain amount of rooms available thanks to the Hilton. That will all be happening this Friday for subscribers at midnight, 12 a.m. and for everybody else at 10 a.m. So if that interests you, hopefully you subscribe via thebaileyshow.com. Up on the website now, there should be a new podcastandpours.com section that recaps some of our past events. If you were there, you might see your beautiful smiling faces. Details for Podcast and Pours 3, which is in Atlanta at Tannery Row. With Distinct Grace headlining, live podcast, $1,000 cash and prizes karaoke contest, special guests, hopefully drinks and food and good times had by all. Those tickets, thebaileyshow.com, and hotels are available there thanks to the Buford Inn, correct?
The Buford Travel Inn.
The Buford Travel Inn. Nothing.
Every time.
I can't get it because I'm not reading copy. This is all, Saturday, October 12th. Those doors are going to be at 6, I believe. All right. And you can purchase tickets day of show, but why would you want to do that? Just get them early. And the newsletter and the YouTube channel, all that stuff up on thebaileyshow.com. Please subscribe, be a part of this awesome community that we have. We would love to have you as a subscriber, a sponsor, possibly. You heard some of the new sponsors at the beginning of the show. If you're interested in that, possibly sponsor in Podcast and Pours 3, Podcast and Pours 4. Let's have a conversation. Also, other opportunities. Looking for a title sponsor for all of our videos on different platforms. Thebaileyshow.com. Get a hold of me. All right. Chuck, you got anything before we get out?
13-year anniversary. I got to say, I love my wife, and I cannot wait to go pick out a thong for myself for the lace.
Okay. Would you please post a picture of when you buy the thong?
When I buy it.
Yeah, not with her on. Not with it on.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Is she a thong girl? I didn't think thongs were in style anymore.
She's kind of like transferred to the commando situation. I mean,
really?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I mean, it's been like that for like 5 years. I think she just gave up on the whole underwear thing.
I don't think that's healthy.
I think it is. I think it's more healthy.
Get some lint up in there.
Get some what?
Lint.
Lit?
Lint.
I think he's making fun of me before when I said lit.
No, lint. Lint. Like
lint.
Lint. Like clothes lint.
Like dryer
lint.
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 I thought he said lit.
That's what I thought. I don't know. Get some raisins up in that lint. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's healthy. You might want to talk to a doctor.
No, it is. It's more healthy. You're supposed to just be natural. I mean, what do you think about like people like living in the jungles? I mean,
don't do that.
I don't think they're very healthy.
I don't think they're healthy. And we don't live in jungles.
We're the least healthiest people. You got mosquitoes.
Have you ever
drinking dirty water?
You ever see those Nat Geo episodes where like Dr. Schultz is the first to ever get in touch with this tribe? And you see them out there and they're just like rubbing knuckles, and they all got sores all over their bodies, and they're looking and they're tilting their heads and they're poking and they're like trying to rub the white paint off his skin because they think it's paint, and they're touching curly hair because they've never seen curly hair from a white man before. Yeah, they're doing really well, Chuck. You take their you take their blueprint for life. I'll take mine. There you go. All right, Branden. Happy anniversary, you two, by the way. Happy anniversary.
Cheers.
Did your kids get you anything?
No, kids don't even know that it exists. They don't even know what an anniversary is.
Oh, that's a good parenting lesson for you to do.
Well, technically, it's not really. We got married today, but per our previous conversations, it's actually your anniversary is the first time you made love. So I probably have like 3 more weeks. I'm just early.
No, that's a bangiversary.
Oh, I thought we just moved the anniversary date.
No. Anniversary is one thing. Bangiversary is something totally different. Bangiversary is the first time that you made love.
Well,
You
I'm
waited
not gonna.
3. You
I'm
waited
not gonna
3
tell
weeks
her.
after.
You what?
Yeah, I'm not going to tell her about that because I don't want to get her another bumper sticker.
Yeah, and by the way, I did not invent Bangiversary. My friends Mike and Leah, they invented it based off of, I guess, my lingo that I used to use back in the day. I guess I used to say bang all the time. So I got them together. You know, I finally got those two together because they liked each other, and I think they were in other relationships. And one night it was at Mako's, and I pushed their heads together to kiss, forcefully pushed their heads together to kiss, and they've been together ever since, happily married.
You're like a matchmaker.
I am.
Maybe you can do that for Branden.
Who needs a .com? Yeah, maybe. All right, Branden, you got anything before we get out?
If you got kids, raise them up good.
Yeah, get raisins up in there, boom, boom. All right, look, as always, we appreciate your listening. Thank you for all the support. Until next time, talk to you then. Bye.
Thanks for listening. Till next time, check out thebaileyshow.com. Make sure you like, share, follow on all socials. I leave you with these parting words.
Never got a pink slip either. You know what I would get? A guy would come around to my desk and say, "Get the f*** out of here!"
What do we want to talk about?
Subscribe at thebaileyshow.com.
Yeah, baby.